And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Thursday, the 4th of December. Morning, Paul.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Let's fancy commodities flying today are tin, gone through 40,000, copper hitting new highs, all-time highs. So a bit of excitement there. And Paul, obviously you're up at resourcing tomorrow. I popped up on Tuesday, didn't manage to make it yesterday. I had to go and see some Americans instead, which was a really rather good meeting actually. But I'll say no more. How are you finding resourcing tomorrow, Paul?
Well, it very interesting is the bottom line because of the booths are full and the number of apparent ministries from various countries are definitely more than in prior years. So there's a lot of interesting conversations to have. There are a good number of new companies that hadn't been presenting there before. As well, and I haven't actually gotten around to a lot of those, but the stories that I have been getting to tend to be more advanced exploration and pre-development sorts of projects. So investors showing a lot of interest at this stage.
Yeah, they're mainly TSX though, aren't they? Rather than there's a real lack of UK listed
Yeah,
companies.
that's Yes, that's right. TSX and ASX, and there is actually a slower amount of London quoted companies. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's turn to a little bit of news. Let's kick off with a big one. Rio's trying to tell us all that it's really up and running, focused. It's going to be a big lithium resource. Unfortunately, the share price is down 33p. But what's your take on that, Paul?
Well, I would looking specifically at this new MRE resource statement on their lithium assets as well. They gave individual MRE resource and reserve statements across their portfolio of hard rock and brine resources. They have definitely picked up the major plays out there as far as total lithium is concerned here. So we're looking at tens of millions of tons of lithium carbonate equivalent that they have under their control across Australia and Latin America and other places. Yes, the notable absence from the resource statement from Rio is the dropping of the Jadar resource there in Serbia, which was the lithium borate project that they had high hopes for over a number of years, given its size. But they no longer intend to pursue that, so it is definitely off of the agenda as far as this statement is concerned.
Okay, let's turn to one that's a stock that is in the UK and had a bit of an update this morning, which is Amaroq.
Yes, Amaroq, the tri-listed gold producer, and now as well as explorer in Greenland, they had an update on their exploration work there, specifically at the Nalyanak mine, gold mine that now has been restarted. They did 2,100 meters of underground resource conversion drilling there with some intercepts, really bonanza type stuff, like half a meter at 1,800 grams gold per ton. So definitely that will be feeding some nice ore in due course here. 62% of the drilling intercepts on the main vein had an average grade of 87 grams gold. So at nearly 3 ounces gold per ton, that should also be an awfully sweet operation, even for very small tonnages here. 4,200 meters of surface drilling on this main vein as well, which extended it 700 meters down dip from the previous mine areas and into what they call the South Deeps area of their mine. And all of this 2025 drilling results will be updated into a new geologic model ahead of a new mineral resource estimate in the first quarter of next year.
All right, very good. Anything else you want to talk about, Paul?
Yes, I wanted to put a mention out to the EU statement that came out yesterday on their next stages of their Critical Raw Materials Act action plan, which they've named as the Resource EU Action Plan. And uh, specifics about it are like in mid 2026, they have an action plan to actually boost the fertilizer and recycled nutrients sector. they may well put some kind of restrictions on the export of scrap and waste from permanent magnets or critical metals, perhaps even copper here in due course, in order to make sure that the scrap stays in the EU to be reprocessed to be used again in the EU. They also mentioned a few of the projects that they've already made financial commitments to, like Vulcan Energy's project in Germany and one of the Greenland Moly projects, for instance. But to put it in an analogy of sports terms, they essentially have established what the team roster and the game plan will be for this Critical Raw Materials Act, but they still haven't decided the full starting roster of players they'll provide financing to. So we'll have to wait for 2026 to see just what kind of money will go to this list of firms that were on the initial group, which included Savannah Resources and Tungsten West.
Yeah, the trouble is, obviously, being the EU, they have, using your football analogy, Paul, they have 27 managers all trying to make a decision, and it's very difficult to get all 27 of them to agree to the same decision. Can you imagine trying to get
Yes, that's right.
every single Premiership manager trying to agree on the tactics for Man City? It just doesn't work. Also, of course, the EU doesn't particularly like us, so although they keep talking about Tungsten West, it's a British company. Now, so it should be funded by the British, but it probably isn't at the end of the day, unfortunately, because the complexity and red tape and difficulty getting all these things done probably means the Americans will come storming in because they actually want the tungsten. Anyway, time will tell. We've talked about that lots in the past. That'll do. Back on Friday.
See you tomorrow.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.